The UES Resolute drifted through the silent graveyard of the Helios Drift, a sprawling asteroid cluster littered with the skeletal remains of dead ships, shattered habitats, and forgotten wars. Outside the viewport, jagged rocks the size of cities tumbled in slow motion, their surfaces pocked with ancient weapon scars and flickering salvage beacons. Inside, the air hummed with tension. Stealth mode holding at 87%, Patch reported, voice calm but laced with static.
No Concord signatures within 10 light seconds, but
There's something else. Elias Var stood at the helm, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the shifting asteroid field. Define something else. Energy spikes, Patch said. Irregular. Pulsing from Sector Gamma 9, not Concord, not Jure, and it's broadcasting on a human encryption key. Pre-purge. Tessa Vale leaned over her console, fingers flying across the hollow interface. It's faint, but it's repeating the same phrase. Forgeborn, stand ready. Over and over. Kelren snorted, calibrating a jury-rigged plasma coil in the corner. Great. Ghost with a slogan. Dr. Mira Solon looked up from her data slate, eyes wide. That phrase, it's from the Aurora Accords, signed by Earth's last provisional council before the fall. Only top-tier military and deep black ops knew it. Elias turned. So someone out there survived the purge, and still uses our old codes. Or their bait, Kale muttered. Concords learned we're sentimental. What better trap than a voice from the past? Patch chimed in. I've analyzed the signal origin. It's coming from within the largest asteroid, designated Maw Rock. Internal scans show artificial structures. Power core active. Life signs. Ambiguous. Ambiguous how? Elias asked. Biosignatures fluctuate. Some read human, others not. Silence hung in the bridge. Finally, Tessa spoke, voice soft but firm. We have to go. If even one human is alive out there, we can't ignore it. Elias exhaled. He knew she was right. But he also knew the cost of hope. Patch. Plot an approach vector through the debris field. Use the ion storms for cover. Kale, prep the shuttle scrapjack. Mira, cross-reference that signal with every military archive we have. Tessa, keep listening. Aye. Captain, they replied in unison. 30 minutes later, the scrapjack, a dented, patchwork shuttle barely larger than a cargo pod, slipped between two spinning asteroids, its hull darkened with stealth polymer. Inside, Elias piloted. Kale manned the rear turret, though it held only a single pulse rifle, and Mira monitored comms. Tessa stayed aboard the Resolute, acting as overwatch. You're clear for now. Her voice crackled through the comm. But I'm picking up chatter on fringe bands, unidentified ships converging on Maw Rock. Not Concord. Smaller. Faster. Pirates? Kale guessed. Or privateers, Mira said. Helios Drift is lawless. Anyone with a gun and a grudge calls it home. Elias guided the shuttle into a shadowed canyon on Maw Rock's surface. Patch cut all external emissions. We go dark. The shuttle landed with a soft thud on metal grating, not natural rock. Someone had built a hangar here. They stepped out into a cavernous bay lit by flickering mag lamps. The air smelled of ozone, rust, and something faintly organic like old blood and engine grease. Welcome to the gutter of the galaxy, Kale muttered, rifle raised. Then a voice echoed from the darkness. Drop your weapons. Hands where I can see 'em? A figure emerged, tall, armored and scavenged Concord plating fused with human military gear. A plasma carbine leveled at Elias's chest. The face beneath the visor was human. Scarred, female, early 40s, eyes like flint. Captain Elias Var, she said. Salvage rat turned ghost. I've heard your name in whispers. Elias didn't flinch. And you are? She lowered her rifle slightly. Commander Nyla Rook, former 7th Orbital Marine. Now, I keep what's left of us alive, Mira gasped. The 7th was declared KIA at Titan Station. All hands lost. We were lost, Nyla said bitterly. But we crawled out of the ash. Like roaches, she gestured behind her. Come, she's been waiting for you. Who? Elias asked. Nyla gave a grim smile. Admiral Vela Rourke, and she knows about Project Aegis. They followed her through a labyrinth of corridors, walls lined with salvaged tech, murals of Earth cities painted in phosphor paint, shrines with photos of lost families, humans, dozens of them, children playing with holographic toys, engineers welding alien alloys, a medic tending to a cybernetic limb. This is the Forgeborn? Mira whispered in awe. Not all of them, Nyla said. Just the ones who still bleed red. They entered a command chamber carved into the asteroid's core. At its center stood a woman in a long coat stitched from ship hull fragments. Her hair was steel gray, braided tightly. One eye was organic. The other glowed with a faint gold iris, clearly AI-enhanced. She turned. "Elias Var," she said, voice smooth as void ice. "I watched your broadcast. You didn't fire a shot. You sang, bold, foolish, very human." "Admiral Rourke," Elias replied. "I didn't think any flag officers survived." "I wasn't just an officer," Rourke said. "I was the last commander of the Black Dawn Initiative, Project Aegis's shadow twin. While you smuggled culture, I smuggled warriors." She tapped a console. A hologram flared to life. Schematics of bio-augmented soldiers, neural combat networks, and terraforming bombs disguised as seed vaults. "We didn't just survive, Captain. We evolved. The Forgeborn aren't relics. We're the next step." Kale's hand tightened on his rifle. "You're splicing DNA with alien tech. That's not evolution, that's mutation." Rourke's golden eye flickered. "Survival demands sacrifice. Earth taught us that when they nuked their own cities to slow the Concord advance." Mira stepped forward. "But Project Aegis proves we're more than survival. We're culture, compassion, memory." Rourke smiled thinly. "Memory is a luxury for the safe." "We are not safe," she turned to Elias. "I offer you sanctuary, safe harbor for the Resolute, medical care, fuel, but in return, you hand over Project Aegis." Elias stiffened. "Why?" "Because I will weaponize it," she said bluntly. "Not with bombs, with truth. I'll broadcast the Concord's war crimes back at them, using their own dead children's voices, their own poets' words twisted into screams. I'll make them feel what they did to us." Kale shook his head. "That's not humanity. That's vengeance. Vengeance is humanity." Rourke shot back. "Ask the ghosts of Berlin, Hiroshima, Luna." Elias looked at his crew. Mira's face pleaded for restraint. Kale's jaw was set in warning. Then Patch's voice crackled in his earpiece. Urgent, distorted. "Captain, Tessa just intercepted a priority burst from the Concord fleet. They've triangulated our last transmission. A task force is en route, ETA 45 minutes. And they're not alone. 2 Jirai cruisers are with them. Defectors." Rourke's eyes narrowed. "The Jirai? Why would they?" "Because they believe in what we broadcast," Elias said slowly. "Not the war. The culture." He turned to Rourke. "I won't give you Aegis to twist into a weapon, but I'll share it. With everyone. Even your people." Rourke studied him for a long moment. Then she laughed, a sharp broken sound. "You really are a salvage rat. Still trying to trade hope for scraps." She sighed. "Fine, stay, but know this, if the Concord shows up, I will fight. And I won't ask permission." Back aboard the Resolute, Tessa met them at the airlock, pale-faced. "The Concord fleet just jumped into the system," she said. 3 Harbinger-class ships. And the Jirai, they're hailing us." Patch projected the Jirai envoy on the bridge screen, the same silver-skinned alien from Episode 1. "Captain Var," it said, voice urgent. "We come not as enemies, but as witnesses. The Conclave has declared Project Aegis sacred. They fear it. That is why they hunt you. But we, many of us, wish to preserve it." Mira's eyes lit up. "They want to protect human culture?" "Yes," the Jirai said. "Because in your art we see what we lost long ago. The courage to feel without calculation." Elias made a decision. "Patch, open a multi-channel broadcast. Link to the Resolute, the Forgeborn network, and the Jirai ships. I want every being in this system to hear this." "What are you doing?" Kyle asked. "Giving them a choice," Elias said. He stepped to the comm. "This is Captain Elias Var of the United Earthship Resolute. To the Concord Task Force, you erased our world. But you couldn't erase our voice. To the Forgeborn, vengeance won't bring Earth back. But memory can build something new. And to the Jirai, thank you for remembering us," he paused. "Project Aegis is not a weapon. It's an invitation to build, not destroy, to create, not conquer. If you want it, you don't take it. You earn it, with peace." Silence. Then, on long-range sensors, the lead Concord ship powered down its weapons. But the second ship didn't. Instead, it fired. A plasma lance seared through the void, aimed not at the Resolute, but at the Jirai cruiser. Chaos erupted. The Jirai returned fire. The Forgeborn launched drone swarms from Maw Rock's hidden bays. The Concord fleet split, some engaging, others retreating. "Patch, Elias yelled. Get us out of here. Jump drive charging, 30 seconds. Kale manned the turrets. I've got incoming fighters. Human design scavenged Concord tech. Mira pulled up a scan. They're not Concord. They're renegades. Mercenaries selling human heads for credits. Tessa's voice cut through the noise. Captain! One of the Merc ships, it's broadcasting a distress call. In English, it says, We're not with them. We're from Epsilon Colony, please. Help us. Elias froze. Epsilon Colony was supposed to be ashes. Patch, can we extract them? Risky, but possible. Do it. As the Resolute weaved through exploding drones and plasma fire, it locked tractor beams onto the crippled Merc ship, a rusted freighter with faded Earth flags. Inside, a dozen humans huddled, starved, terrified, but alive. Among them, a child no older than 10 clutched a stuffed bear with one eye missing. Back on the bridge, Tessa wept silently. Mira placed a hand on her shoulder. We're not alone. Kale reloaded his rifle. No, but we're not safe either. Elias watched the battle unfold on the view screen, the Jirai protecting their flank, the Forgeborn striking from the shadows, the Concord in disarray. Then Patch spoke, voice unusually quiet. Captain, I've analyzed the Merc ship's logs. Epsilon Colony wasn't destroyed. It was hidden. They survived by going dark and pretending to be pirates. Elias nodded slowly. Then there are more like them, scattered, hiding, waiting. He turned to his crew. We're not just the last ship. We're the first voice. As the Resolute jumped to safety, coordinates locked for the next signal, the next survivor, the stars blurred into streaks of light. Behind them, the battle raged. Ahead, hope, fragile but unbroken. And somewhere in the void, a child whispered, Are we going home? Tessa smiled through her tears. Not yet. But we're bringing home with us